A courtroom surprise, an unusual move at an initial court hearing involving the man accused of a deadly hit and run. Thanks for inviting us in. We begin tonight at 6 with Caprice Glass, who was charged in the death of 26-year-old Brianna Evans. Glass told the judge today he wants to plead guilty.
He did that at that hearing this morning, and now the focus turns to what happens next. Ashton Hackman explains why attorneys say this plea this saying I'm guilty is so unusual, and also he shares how Evans' family tonight is reacting to the news.
A surprise move at his very first hearing.
IMPD did a wonderful job investigating. Detective Jones, Detective Abrams, I met with Mr. Glass extensively last week, and Saturday morning he made the decision to plead guilty this morning.
Police arrested 40-year-old Caprice Glass 3 days after the crash. Investigators say he hit 26-year-old Brianna Evans in a crosswalk at Maryland and Pennsylvania streets, then drove away. They found his damaged car hidden under a tarp when they arrested him.
Did the right thing by turning himself in, because that's the right thing to do, and the right thing to do isn't always the easy thing to do.
But the path to a guilty plea is far from typical.
It's a little perplexing for sure.
Defense attorney Brad Banks isn't connected to the case. He says pleading guilty this early could ultimately help Glass when a judge considers sentencing.
One of the statutory factors for somebody that pleads guilty is taking responsibility. And, they can't, show yourself taking responsibility any more than pleading guilty right off the bat.
For Evans' family, the guilty plea is a step toward accountability.
I'm not going to get my daughter back, ever. But for him to get his life right with God and to do the right thing, that is the best I can ask for.
A step toward healing through forgiveness.
I have forgiven him. My daughter, she's in heaven. I believe she's at peace. And I believe God's using her for what he wants to use her for now.
For now, Glass is being held in jail on a $64,000 cash bond. His change of plea and sentencing hearing is set for September 28th. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
The next step will likely be plea negotiations between the prosecutors and Glass's attorney. Glass faces up to 12 years in prison if the guilty plea is approved.
A man was just sentenced to 38 years in prison for holding a woman hostage and shooting at police back in 2024. 65-year-old Grant Brown was convicted of attempted murder, criminal confinement, criminal recklessness, and domestic battery. The shooting all unfolded at a north side apartment near 79th and Keystone. Police had responded to several calls from neighbors concerned about the woman's safety. When officers got to that apartment, they say Brown started shooting at them and police returned fire. Brown was shot and taken to the hospital before getting arrested. The officers and the woman were not injured.
In court this afternoon, the director of a former daycare in Hendricks County was just sentenced in connection with a child sex crime case. This is Jennifer Lingbeck, and she's entering the courtroom this morning. The judge sentencing her to 6 months in prison and a year of home detention, followed by parole. She took a plea deal today, accepting 1 count of neglect of a dependent and 1 count of failure to make a report. Parents of the daycare accuse Lingbeck of dismissing concerns that a former worker there, Gabriel Garner, had been sexually abusing children at the daycare. Garner arrested in 25 on dozens of child sex crime charges. And the owner of the daycare, Nancy Minton, she pleaded guilty to neglect of a dependent and failure to make a report.
An Indianapolis woman tonight is going to prison for firing a gun at an appliance repairman working on her dryer.
Rich Nye had his camera in the courtroom today as that woman unsuccessfully asked for home detention.
45-year-old Reba Wilson accepted a plea deal admitting to criminal confinement with a deadly weapon and intimidation. In March 2024, Wilson refused to pay Nate Baird after he worked on her clothes dryer at her East Side home. She pulled a gun and threatened to shoot him. He ran out the back door and she fired a shot. Wilson suffers from multiple sclerosis. Her attorney argued for her to serve her time on home detention so she could receive the proper care that she needs.
I have learned that there is no more, or I would likely have my last mobile days in jail.
But the judge noted 21 arrests with 8 misdemeanor and 8 felony convictions. Wilson was on the run with an arrest warrant in this case for about a year.
You have shown yourself to be unworthy of community supervision.
Judge Charles Miller sentenced Wilson to 10 years in prison. In Indianapolis, Rich Knight, 13 News.
Tonight, there's a new federal lawsuit against the city of Indianapolis and an IMPD sergeant.
It all stems from an arrest at Riverside Park in April. An 18-year-old originally accused of pointing a gun at an officer was cleared of all charges after prosecutor's office said the body-worn camera footage did not support the allegation.
This lawsuit claims that arrest violated the 18-year-old's constitutional rights, and it alleges the sergeant who made that arrest fabricated evidence and submitted court documents with false statements. IMPD and the city declined to comment.
A class action lawsuit now accuses the Marion County prosecutor and IMPD of participating in a scheme of profiteering. In court documents, people claim that police are seizing cash at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. And the prosecutor's office is keeping it through civil forfeiture proceedings. We reached out to the prosecutor's office and IMPD for a response. IMPD told us they do not comment on pending litigation. Angela?
And Marie, we're keeping a close eye on radar. Storm chances over about the next 24 hours. For now, we've got one complex that has weakened completely as it moved to our west. We have another one across the eastern sections of Iowa. This is the one that we're going to be watching over the next several hours. Eastern Iowa into Wisconsin, northwest Illinois. That's where we find a level 3 threat. For us in central Indiana, it's a level 1 threat. Most likely, these are going to be overnight into early tomorrow morning storm chances. 84 degrees in Indianapolis now, 83 in Muncie, 82 Bloomington, 86 Columbus. It's warm, it's hazy, it's smoky, it's muggy out there. Air quality is suffering because of the smoke as well. Unhealthy for sensitive groups from Indianapolis north and east. So if you suffer from upper respiratory problems, take it easy the rest of today. The air quality alerts for all of central Indiana continue through midnight.
All right, Angela, thanks so much. If you've been outside today, you have certainly seen it. You've probably smelled it or even felt that smoke from Canada.
Ella Rhodes went out to see how Hoosiers today are coping with this poor air quality.
You can see just how hazy the sky is behind me. That's from the wildfire smoke coming in and setting on top of the city. I'm standing on the top floor of a parking garage right now downtown, and people say that haziness is making it harder for them to breathe.
A dense haze covers Indianapolis, making landmarks like the Salesforce Tower a bit fuzzy. It's also causing people to cough, sneeze, and wheeze. Lucky Columbro flew back to Indianapolis a few days ago from Toronto. She says the sky here does not look as bad as it did there, but she knows what she's inhaling is not good.
Bit anxious, especially since, like I mentioned, I've been hospitalized before for asthma, and I do notice taking my medication a little bit more, like my inhaler.
An IU Health pulmonologist tells 13 News the particles in the air can make its way deep into your lungs, even for the healthiest of people. Their best piece of advice? Staying inside as much as possible. In Indianapolis, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.